Three, two, one. Welcome to Campy Cast. Back once again.
We're back.
Yeah.
Third time.
Third time. Yeah.
There's three of us.
And you thought we were gonna be gone, huh? We haven't uploaded in the last couple days. You guys thought this would just be a
You expected we were daily uploads like Watch Mojo? No. We take time with our uploads.
Yeah.
Like Miss Mojo. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of that. Okay, so any important news? I mean, there hasn't been much.
I don't think we got news this time either.
Stuff.
At least anything I can recall, no.
Yeah, not really anything that I think is worth talking about, I guess.
Nothing extended really.
There were some announcements for stuff, but I don't really care enough to talk about them.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
Cardi's
just talk
new
about the movies when they come.
But nothing important other than that.
Yeah,
I mean, Cardi's mixtape is important, but Anyway, so I got two things to discuss this time. I think this is going to be our shortest one again. I know we said that last time.
Yeah, and it ended up being much longer than we thought it would be.
But this time, who knows, this one might be as long again, but
we'll see. We'll see. It depends how much we have to say about these two things, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in terms of stuff, I know we're late to this, but there was this, stupid drama with the Little Mermaid trailer. I mean, I know this happened a while ago, I guess, but I don't even know if it's worth talking about that.
They're black.
That's so stupid. I don't care. I don't care about that, okay? Why are people getting so mad about that? Why are these 40-year-olds in their basement getting mad that the Little Mermaid is black? Come on.
Anyway,
who gives a
crap? I don't think we're going to talk about this wrong. All I'll say is that the movie's going to be awful either way.
Yeah.
Black doesn't mean anything.
For completely different reasons. For completely different reasons.
People are complaining about it probably are complaining about different reasons and why it'll actually be bad. That's all I'll say.
Like pretty much every other Disney remake, including the Pinocchio one we reviewed in episode 1. So I guess we'll just jump into it.
Yeah.
So recently, about last week,
around the week.
We started watching the famous YouTube web series Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Kind of like a parody of Sesame Street in some way. Kind of about
kind of just that stuff in general.
Yeah, there's
watch the shorts, and then we watched the new series that came out, 6 episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a mini-series, and I don't know if it's getting a season 2, but for now it's just 1 season.
Yeah, I'm interested if they make a season 2. If there is a season 2, we'll talk about it, but
then we'll get taken off Letterboxd.
As for our thoughts on the first series, I think it is just, it's just really good. I really like it. I think it's
I love it.
It's really absurdly well made. I think it's there's a lot of cool subtle themes in there about corporate greed and not shy about showing the dark side of the kids' entertainment industry and just all the greed and just the type of stuff that is surrounding it that kids are fully unaware of, and then just tapping into this creepy curse type of nature, and it's just really done. It's well done. It's it's really creative and fun, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's a main thing too. It's not obviously it's weird to compare it to other stuff fucking Jordan Peele movies, but no, there's themes to it, and there's stuff you can decode, but that's not the whole point to it. Just entertaining on its own. You could watch this. It's just it's a parody on its own, and it's still really funny, right?
Yeah.
It's basically if I had to describe it in one way, it's basically just what the shorts were, but except actual episodes, and I mean that in the best way possible. These are all extremely entertaining, and just very, very well made too. All the puppetry, and they switch up the art style. A couple times, a couple of claymation, and they do stop motion, and it all looks amazing.
It's epic.
You can see why apparently this took years to make. You can kind of see that with how in depth everything looks,
and it was worth it. I really enjoyed it.
I'd say it all paid off tremendously. Yeah,
I had fun with it, and it's you think that I can understand some people might be a bit skeptical because like it's like this format, usually this type of idea, some people might think it fits better for like these type of small 6-minute shorts. But
I can get that.
I think they do it well here.
Like, no, they make the transition well, right? Because it's just kind of like, well, the shorts, they're all basically just like, well, not all of them. Some of them are a little more in depth, but like the first 5-ish are just kind of like simple like parody songs that like have like a little more like the obvious, and then they have like the parody angle to it where it gets super dark. And these are kind of like that, except it's like actual like stories that you'd have in like the stuff it's parodying, except like longer, whatever. And yeah, it's just all really funny and really clever, and yeah.
Should we go through the episode since there's not much of them?
I think we can if you want. I was just gonna talk in general, but what was your favorite one? Just to throw that out there.
My favorite is either episode 1 or episode 5.
My favorite is either 2 or 5. 2 is easily the funniest.
Oh yeah, 2 is funny. I don't know.
It's so morbid, but I kind of love that. Like, he's dead, but he just acts like an alive
also
person.
Spoilers. Yes, spoilers.
Spoilers.
For the series.
We'll probably spoil everything we cover.
I don't want to spoil it because I definitely think you should go into this type of stuff blind because like.
Oh yeah, true.
I went in this completely blind. I'm a bit of a new fan of the series since I just recently watched them, and I
watched
already
all the shorts the day this show came out. So yeah, I'm very new. I didn't have to wait for this basically.
Yeah, but, I can't imagine how like long fans of the original series.
Because I think some people have been literally waiting since 6 came out in like 2016, so, like that long.
Yeah, and I just watched this the day the series came out. So yeah. I don't know like how like the timeline of this works. Like when does this take? Is this a prequel to the original? Is it the?
Well, because 6 has an ending where like it's kind of vague, but it's supposed to loop or something. So there's all that.
Yeah, like it supposedly has reset. Like
if I looked at all the epic theories and everything, I could probably find something.
Yeah, I think it might be a prequel because it takes place back on the date June 19th, which was like the date in the original, like a lot. There were a lot of cool theories about this series that I thought was interesting, and it actually made me want to like look back upon it again, and it just gets better the longer I think about it.
Yeah, I haven't looked up any of the theories myself, but they sound interesting to like look into that kind of stuff.
There's like a lot of cool stuff here as well. I mean, I'm not really sure yet what it all meant. I mean, some people are still trying to decide that for themselves. This just came out like a week ago. But
I look into the theme.
There's some cool like subtext and themes here, like to kind of like being like forced into this like limited type system when working,
episode 5 is the most blatant with that, where they're literally just trying to get out of this. Like red guy, like by that point he's just off the deep end. He's trying to get off of this like formula they have of like being in this house and getting introduced to like a new thing each time. It's kind of meta in that way, but not in like an awful Matrix 4 way. It's like clever, and it's also interesting with how it plays with the formula of the series. And like with the ending, right, it kind of confirms they basically are trapped, because when they're about to leave and go to this new town, everything basically falls apart. And when they get there, there's nothing. So yeah, they're just kind of trapped in this like
only for it to reset next episode. And like it's interesting. It's like it's kind of like they're facing an existential crisis, you know. Red guy.
Not really the other two. They don't really.
Yeah, they aren't really. Yeah, it's clear that Red Guy is the most aware of pretty much the world, and
it's kind of funny since he's the most quiet in the original show. He barely does anything, but
like he seems to be more aware than the other people, like in like the other characters. I meant, but like
he's more of the straight man in this one. Like in episode 1, he doesn't want to go along with anything. He's just kind of forced into it.
Yeah,
and,
and he kind of hates it most of the time, you know. And he finally decides
which is funny.
to just,
but it's kind of a different dynamic from how it originally was.
And he tries to ignore it a lot of the time. Like in like the friendship episode, I like how everyone tries to ignore him and just completely annihilates this poor worm.
Yeah.
Just, like,
Yeah, that one, the friendship one. I also love that one. How it plays around.
I think I like every episode. Not really. I don't think any of them are bad.
I just have personal like preferred ones. Like like I said, 2. Like we didn't. That's like easily my favorite. Like the concept, it's so funny. The way they try to replace them and everything, and the claymation for like the little clay thing that like replaces like a guy, that it's animated so well. And I like
the remake of the intro.
The ending, it's so funny.
There's 4 of us.
Actually, no. 4 doesn't work.
Also, there's like a thing going around. I think I heard earlier today. I think there was like something about like how the duck who died was the real one.
Oh, I've heard. I think I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that. That would be an interesting way to take it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's just a theory.
Yeah. But that's just a theory.
Anyways, so it's just like, it's interesting, you know? There's some good subtext around it. Because, like, Red Guy's completely losing it, being in this, like, this, like, repetitive, numbed down system, which is usually like here just to teach kids stuff, and he hates being in it. You know, you're programmed into this like just this like stupid mediocre system, and you're supposed to face it every day. And it's like
it's neat. It's neat.
Another thing I like with episode 1 is it kind of like shows with like the work ethics of this type of stuff. I'm not sure what episode 1 all meant. But I just think you can tell there is something so bizarre about these episodes, something like so like bizarre. That you see that there is some type of deeper meaning, and it makes you want to rewatch the episode again just to find that deeper meaning.
It encourages you to actually. This is actually a good comparison I want to make. See, other stuff that has like themes or subtext, people say, "Oh, you kind of gotta see it multiple times to like go back and like find out the themes of what it means." But something like Us, this is a very weird comparison, but something like that, right? I'm not going to want to go back to see the themes because the base experience is not fun. But with this, I have a blast with the main themes, with the main episode. So if you go back, it'll be like, it's cool to see the themes because you're already enjoying what the base episode is. So it's like, it's neat to go back to.
Yeah. It's cool. You end up learning something new out of it. Like I think almost every episode has some type of distinct type of theme towards it, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think
some are more than others. Like by the end, like 5 and 6, they're probably
5 and 6 are like
oriented. I'd say they're probably the most focused on themes and everything.
And it's interesting. And then in like episode 3, it's like focusing on family, right? You know, it's like kind of like being adopted into one or being like found family. And I think what's funny is how Red Guy ends up finding his family, but ends up being like, and like I find it funny how basically all his family just kind of acts like him. I mean, mainly the cameraman, since he's the only one talking, but like, and how he ends up like getting kicked out, and it's like it's you know it's kind of funny.
Yeah, then the designs of the main family is like intentionally creepy, being on like a.
I think it's almost saying something about those like unintentionally creepy doll characters and like those old
that's
TV
like
shows,
the main parallel
like Angela Anaconda and all of that. Like those creepy type of like puppet designs. I think that was clearly intentional, and it works. I think it's funny as well. I think it's just like the main characters just have a really good dynamic, and I think they all play off each other.
Also, the line deliveries, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, this is the same thing with the shorts, too. All the ways, like, they all deliver their lines are just so funny.
Especially Red Guy. Like, every time, his sarcastic attitude is just hilarious.
It's funny how he says it, you know?
You know?
That's why I love Duck Guy so much. He's epic.
Yeah, I like his voice as well. And Yellow Guy, while I like the other two better, I think like his character in it is like pretty well handled, and I think he's still funny.
He's
You
kind of
know?
made the least aware one out of the three
Yeah.
of like what's going on. He's like, yeah, he gets the most involved with
Yeah, and
all the weird stuff.
yeah. And like friendship, it
Mhm.
kind of makes fun of those like classic like bullying, safety, and being nice type of documentary stuff
Yeah.
that you were forced to listen to. It's
The
like
first scene
it's
where
like
they
a
cut and then he's like,
commentary on
the first scene where
kid
like it cuts
shows.
to the worms, he's like, that's not what he should have done. It caught me so off guard, but it's funny. And
Yeah.
like, the scene where Red Guy gets really mad at him for not remembering the password is also great.
Yeah, and
Like,
he just like they just bleep him out, and I'm like, oh, poor yellow guy. But yeah, I find that hilarious.
yeah, it's
And like
funny.
and like poor yellow guy, he just loses it over it, ends up going inside his brain trying to be with like people who would actually accept him, and then like the worm ends up hanging out in there because like he also is more accepted inside the brain. It's like a trap. And then
Yeah.
like I also in that same episode they bring the computer back. Like there's some references to
Oh
the
yeah,
original
oh
web
yeah,
series
that's
for the
another thing. They call
fans.
back to. It's not always so blatant, but there are aspects from like the shorts that you
Yeah,
see called back,
there's like
and
the
that's neat.
clock. Yeah,
Like,
the clock.
yeah.
He was in one
Not
of the
enough
best episodes.
time.
That's not enough time. It's like
Yeah,
it's just it's really funny.
it's neat.
It's
I guess
yes.
is how I put.
The
It's
production
neat.
design is still really cool. Everything look like it
Yeah,
has a
that's what I
cool
said. Like,
yet creepy color
it's
palette.
all great. Everything looks amazing, and like I said, when they mix it up, that looks great too. Like the clay, that's amazing, and yeah, and I think yeah, and the friendship one when they go inside his mind, and that like all that
Yeah.
that's superb too.
Yeah, some
And
great
oh
mix
yeah,
of
in
different art
episode
styles.
5, they do when they do like that commercial for like the town, what kind of commercialist thing for the town they're gonna go to. That all looks super like authentic to the stuff they're trying to like replicate, like that style of
Yeah.
stop motion.
Yeah, I
That's
knew I think they like announced I remember they announced like it was like they posted something on like the Don't Hug Me I'm Scared YouTube channel. I think it was this thing called Wakey Wakey, and I think it was
yeah,
like
I
gonna
heard of that.
announce like another thing, and it took
Oh, I
place
never
in this
watched
like
that, but
and it took place in this town, and then like red guy pointed out like that town on like the map, and then like the GPS says that town is not available, and that was the town in the short saying like that was canceled. It
oh,
was like a
that's
it was
neat.
a night call. It was a nice callback for the people
Yeah,
who
I never
noticed
saw
that.
that. I think I heard the name. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah,
That's
you could
neat.
tell there was just like a lot of passion and thought and effort put into this type of stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
and then there's episode 2, which I just thought was like funny, and how like casual like they treat this type of bizarre stuff.
Yeah,
Like the duck just says
it's like
he's
such
dead.
it's such a morbid. It's treated so morbidly, but I love that. Like
Yeah,
he's
it's
like dead, but
funny.
then they don't really treat it like he's actually dead. He's just like, yeah, he. I guess he is dead
Yeah, because
because he drinks water.
he is dead, but he
Oh, then he
wants to.
argues with the coffin or
Yeah, that was
whatever.
funny. That was funny. There's
Yeah,
something creepy about that coffin, you know.
yeah,
And it was like
it's weird.
I liked the duck just like chilling and there it's like how someone would act like if they were
Yeah,
not willing to die. He was just like, and it talks about how like
not they don't really
we
like.
don't know
It's
what
not really
death
treated like
really
he's
is.
actually dead. It's just like he's gone or like a friend had to move away or something. It's not
Yeah.
like yeah. It's that's funny
It
though.
seems like there's
Uh,
probably it seems that they sprinkled some subtext on death and like how we don't know like where it will take us and stuff like that. But like I don't know, this has just come out, so like I will look more
it
into this
just
type of
came out.
stuff like at a different date. But like
Yeah.
yeah. Um what do you think of the finale? I thought the finale was really good.
Oh yeah, that was great too. I'm not
Yeah.
sure fully what
I'm not
everything
here's
meant.
my theory. So
Uh-huh.
like they're being controlled by this lady who is like photorealistic, I'm not sure what her name is, but like they are being controlled by her. Like they are literally like being controlled as puppets, which they are. And like it explores that type of existentialism of being like trapped in this state of mediocrity and being like
Yeah,
limited
yeah.
to this like stupid system. It's kind of like it kind of gives reason to the type of parodying they're doing with like the kids show. It's like we're watching like a video of someone like making fun of a TV show like Peppa Pig or something and making fun of the format and like things that don't make sense and whatnot. It's really well
World
done. They do it
building.
really well, and I just
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
had
it's
fun
neat.
with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably my favorite part about it. Like it's more of a parody of like since it is more of like a since it's a show now, they use the concept and they end up making like an actual parody of these type of old kid shows like Sesame Street. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's done well. It's
Oh, and the
funny.
music too. I don't even think any of us brought up,
Yeah,
but
the
the music.
music. I was gonna. The
Oh God, the
music
music.
is generally really good. You
I
know.
kind of expected the songs to be good since, most of the original shorts are basically just kind of
Yeah.
songs and they have like a mild story around them like the later ones do. But yeah, it's all great. I haven't gotten all, I don't know if I can name all of them since there's like a lot, so it's hard for me to get them stuck in my head, but they're all great. The vending machine song, Fire, Fire, and we gotta get things
Everything's
ready
ready
for
for the
the
big day,
big
big day.
day. We gotta get things
I
ready
already
for
got
the
these stuck in my
big day.
head. That song
Yeah, they're
specifically.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they're so great. I guess they just like fit the tone well. They show off like the montages, and
Like
they
they're
just
kind of
like.
they're kind of
I think
also
it's just like the
parody-ish.
way the
Like
characters are like singing and stuff. You
and they
know.
kind of also fit the parody like vibes too, because it's like
Yeah.
that's what stuff like Sesame Street and shows for like little kids. They also
Yeah.
kind of have that stuff too. Yeah, it all fits really well. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like you're limited and you're like to this like system. I'm not system, you know, like I said.
yeah.
And like this you're forced in this like place for the sake of entertaining children and like teaching them stuff and like going into the psychology of like the characters who are in the show
They
forced to do
live in an
that.
actual nightmare.
It's a cool idea. I found that funny, and the ending was interesting. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure what it meant,
He
but
shreds a book.
it's about electricity. They replace Yellow Guy's batteries. He ends up becoming
Yeah,
super
he
smart,
becomes really smart, and then
and
the other ones become
and
smart.
all of a sudden he ends up going upstairs. He meets this photorealistic lady. He meets other versions that are being controlled by her. I'm really unsure, but it was just so well done and interesting that it's gonna get a lot of people speculating, and I'm already
I think a lot of
speculating.
people have already been speculating like the original like shorts. I can't imagine how much they have with like all these,
Yeah,
all
it's
like.
interesting. I don't know what the ending meant, but it's like that ending shot with like Yellow Guy like shredding the book, and then everyone's being like yay and stuff like that. It's kind of almost like that ending like into the I guess into like kid shows at times when like the characters are cheering and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know.
was like.
I don't know
Yeah,
if that was intentional, but
I
I
think
don't know.
Matt Pat will explain it all. Don't worry,
Yeah,
he'll make
Pat.
sure it all makes
We'll
sense.
see if he does that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really everything is just really well done. It's like it's funny, it has good characters, and it's enjoyable. I like the
Yeah.
transport one a lot. That's probably my favorite because it's like dapping into the themes, you know? We're seeing like the
Yeah.
type of passengers that Duck and Yellow Guy are in like the back of the seat, him just chilling, watching a show that is very similar to theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, I already said my favorite ones be
And
at two
Yellow
and
Guy,
five.
once
Those are-
again, going through an existential crisis and going through some type of vision, you know? I'm not really sure what this all meant. We're gonna be
Yeah.
speculating still. But,
Yeah, the series.
as for episode 6 of what I think it's like kind of I guess they're just being controlled and forced into the state, and it might just end there. Who knows? I'm interested. I don't know what to think of how episode 6 ended, but I think it's interesting. And if they continue the show, I will be interested to see where it goes.
Well, then they'll take it off Letterboxd, which is lame because they don't allow shows over one season. But
yeah,
it's not that big of a deal. And I don't know if any season 2s are actually confirmed, and if they are, it's probably not going to be for a while, considering how long this all took to be put together. But if they do one, I'm very excited for that. That would be very, very epic. But good show. Watch it if you haven't. I also watched the shorts. We didn't talk about those, but the shorts are
the shorts are. I'd say the shorts are better.
I'd say they're like around on par for me. Like they're like the same.
I enjoyed the shorts more, but I
they
think
work
this
in like
is
a different way, obviously, since it's like the shorts aren't really focused on actual story. Like I said, they're mainly just like little songs, I guess, with like kind of extended stories around them that like have that parody element to them. But both work very well for what they're trying to do, and I would highly recommend both. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I like the characters. They're all like, I like Yellow Guy's craziness and mental and like stuff like that, and like just seeing his mind. I like Duck Guy's snarkiness. I like Red Guy's sarcasm. I think it all ends up given to such a fun dynamic. I also like the ending of the friendship episode when like they all just like beat the crap out of each other and end up arguing.
Oh yeah.
I think that's just funny, and I like the eyebrows they give Yellow Guy. I think
it's still like my favorite joke in the whole show is the ending of episode 2 though, where they do the whole dramatic thing where they recreate the theme song, and then just the cut where they go, no, actually, 4 doesn't work. There's 3 of us.
Yeah, episode 2 was funny. I like episode 1 more because I think it's like, I guess it's clear it's saying something, and while I don't know what it fully meant, I think it also does a good job at like complementing and foreshadowing the themes that will like
it sets up what all 6 are going for well.
Episode 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the part in episode 6 when Red Guy and Duck Guy are just like chilling in the dark. I like how awkward that one part is when Red Guy said, "I like looking at you." It's like a lot of people are making fun of it. I keep seeing these videos called Red Guy and Duck having sexual tension.
Oh God!
And it's like I don't know if that was intentional because
it's definitely not. But oh God,
it might be. It might be because of the finale. It was like a really specific thing in the finale.
Yeah, speaking of Red Guy, though, I don't know how much you have to say about the show. I just have one kind of quick thing. I saw a comment on YouTube. I think I was just watching clips from the show. And the comment was talking about how he's saying that they didn't like Red Guy in the show. He felt out of character from how he usually is. And I guess you can make an argument that he technically is, since he obviously doesn't really act like himself most of the time. He's kind of, but like I'd argue that it really works. He's kind of like out of it, and by this point, he's become aware of like the formula, right? So he's trying his best to like get out of it. He fits what the show's trying to go for well, even though he's kind of different from what he usually is. Like whenever he screams, it's kind of out of nowhere.
Nightmare.
Yeah, but in like a good way.
Yeah.
It's nice. You also get to see his teeth.
It's interesting, and it seems that Red Guy, and like he tries to do pretty much anything just to avoid being like forced in these circumstances. In like the episode when they try to go on the computer, they try to do it so they can like escape from this world and just check their email, and then you just feel bad for Yellow Guy because no one sent him an email, and then everyone just got pissed at him for not remembering the password. I just thought that was both hilarious and generally kind of sad, and like how friendship like we see his brain and tackles like his mental health. And, there's just a lot of subtle themes that are explored here and little details and just there's just so much fun effort put into almost
It's neat.
everything, and it works really
Very neat.
well. I think it's
Yeah.
just, it's just generally fun. I don't really have much issues with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
same. I wouldn't say there's much like actual flaw. I shouldn't feel giving it like the top tier score, but it is
yeah,
probably one of the best 2022 things I've seen this year. I don't know. I haven't seen much 2022 television, let alone like media, but yet very high bar. One of the best things of the year so
yeah.
far.
I think
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah. I guess at times I felt like, some of these ideas did not need to be 23 minutes long, so maybe some pacing
I
issues.
kind of get that, but it doesn't feel like it's
Yeah.
the pacing of it's still good though. It doesn't feel dragged or anything like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But for what it was, it worked, and I enjoyed it. Excuse me.
Yes. Big recommend. And yeah. Bum, bum, bum.
Anyways, do we have anything else to say?
No, I think we can get into scores now, and then we can move on to the
I'll
other
give
thing.
it an 8 out of 10.
I'd give the whole show a solid 9 out of 10. Very, very good. I loved it.
Yeah.
Huge recommend. I'd always say
Yeah.
the
And my
please watch.
favorite character is Red Guy because
And
there's
my
something so
favorite.
hilarious about his voice and attitude that always makes me laugh so hard every time. Like he makes a sarcastic remark and just makes
And
fun of
my
how stupid
favorite.
some things are in the show. It's
And my favorite character is Duck Guy because he has a funny voice. And
Sorry,
I like
Yellow
his.
Guy. We still really like you, but you're just the weakest character.
Yeah. Yellow Guy's easily the weakest one.
He's
But
still good though.
yeah,
He's
they're,
still good.
they're all
All the
epic though,
characters are
yeah.
good. Yeah. 8 out of 10 show. Would watch again. Yeah, I guess we'll move on to the film I recommended for this episode,
Yeah.
Searching, a film that is solely taking place
It's the internet.
through computers.
Welcome to the internet.
So, what did you think of it? I'm curious.
I thought it was very good. Better than I expected, really. And I think the main thing that I liked about it was, yeah, I think, well, because, yeah, first of all, obviously, the main thing I think people come to this movie for is how it's framed, right? Like, it's all on the internet. It's all behind, like, laptop screens or voice calls or all that. But what I like about it is I wouldn't say the movie's reliant on that fact. It's obviously, I think it enhances the movie. It's neat. I like it. But the actual story isn't just nothing without the framing device. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there's substance to it without it.
I think
and
it works.
I like
I
that.
think it works for this type of mystery story. It's pretty
Oh, yeah.
simple. I really like the opening. It's about a dad named David. He's trying to find his daughter, who has gone missing. Oh yeah, also spoilers for this movie as well. Spoilers.
She
Uh,
disappeared.
yeah, she
I think everything we
disappears.
talked about on the podcast will probably be spoiled. So,
Yeah,
just
pretty
gonna say
much.
that now.
And yeah, she ends
Yeah.
up going missing, and you end up feeling bad for him because he already lost his wife, and it shows through the opening that they have like a strong connection in some way, and then like it's sad when when like things start to make him doubt that he doesn't know his daughter at all, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's also just really well presented. I think this movie has like a really accurate like showing of the internet and just how people might act. Like the part when she goes missing and ends up getting presumed dead. Like people start using her like death for her being dead like for clout. It's kind of like
Yeah.
something some people would actually do.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know?
and like that one girl they set up earlier who like I made specific note of this. I really like this like kind of detail. This one girl who the dad's talking to, she talks about he doesn't really know the girl that well, but then when she's presumed like dead
Yeah.
and she makes up this fake story about how they were like best friends or whatever, just for like the attention of it. And it's kind of fucked up, but it like, yeah, it's interesting with how like the story works and everything. And I guess another thing I like about it, like it could have so easily been really like bad or really dumb, because like most stories, if you're like relying on the internet for your story, I see how that could go wrong in so many ways. How it could become dated, how they like rely on like, I don't know, you know what I mean, right? Like it just could feel like dated or like trying to be
we
too
just
hip or whatever.
also, before someone in the comments acknowledges this, yes, there was recently just an audio error out of nowhere.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just gonna
what it
acknowledge it
was?
now. Back to the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but
Um,
anyway, yeah, what I do like though is that there's just like, yeah, like they don't like, it could so easily be like dated or like weird how it presents technology, but no, everything's like presented like well or whatever. And yeah, none of it feels like it's trying to be like, yeah, hip or whatever
Yeah,
with like the
it's like you
technology
can
and
tell
stuff.
like the type of time frame is shown well because like the type of like apps and like use of technology kind of reflects like the time passing and just the type
Because
of
in the
like
opening, it's
tone.
like clearly presented as like older technology, like in
Yeah.
the opening scene,
And
it's like
even
an
then it
older
seems like
monitor
it's
laptop or
I'm
whatever.
assuming this film like
And
takes
over time,
place.
that like adapts or whatever. I think that's like another neat detail at it all. And you can tell that the people who made the movie like had a good grasp of the internet and how everything works. Like
Yeah.
there's like how all the websites work. So there's no parts where I think it's like weird and it's like, oh, that doesn't make sense, or that's like a website wouldn't work that way or whatever. Like yeah, it's all like well presented and everything. Like for the most part, there were a couple parts where I was like, okay, well, why is this like being filmed or whatever, like, or why like it's like on an audio call or whatever. But that's only like minor stuff. For the
Yeah, I guess
most
there
part,
was
it's all
some
well
stuff like
presented.
you can tell they maybe were struggling to make everything technology, but I think it usually works most of the time, and
Yeah.
it ends up showing like what's happening and like revolving around the mystery over the course of the movie, and it's done well. You
Yeah.
feel for the main character because the movie does a good job at making you sympathize with him.
Yeah.
And he has every right to be angry based off like how all these like people have been just using his daughter dying for clout and going missing and just being all
Yeah.
like, oh, I was best friends with her even though she didn't really have much friends.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
have
that part too. Like the whole thing, he like throughout the like the way the mystery unravels, he basically figures out that his daughter's not really like the person she's like told about at all. And it's like interesting in that way. Like she doesn't really have any friends, really, at least like actual friends. Like she wasn't even taking like all these classes that he
yeah.
thought the money was going towards, and like yeah, it's like not like, and it's like the way like obviously like I guess we'll get into it. There's like the big twist at the end. There's a lot of mini twists I guess as
Yeah,
you
I'm
see
not.
how
I
the
will talk
mystery
about that because
unfolds.
that's kind of my biggest issue with the movie, if
Yeah,
I'm being
it's like
honest.
unexpected, but like
It's
the way
just
it's
kind of a
unexpected,
cop
but it's not
out.
like out of the like it's unexpected, but it's not like just dumb like thrown
Yeah,
in.
yeah, let me talk about, I'm gonna talk about that now. So,
Mm-hmm.
turns out the detective was the one who ended
With
up,
the detective, the
uh,
whole
I mean, it wasn't really, it was like her son, who I guess,
yeah, but
it
she
wasn't
covered it up, I
really out
guess.
of nowhere. I mean, she said later in the film that, like, she didn't really know her son, and, like, she did something like this before, I guess.
I kind of like things in a way. I kind of like that, since that seems like a throwaway line they go in there to like further
They
showcase
kind of
the like
expand it.
the themes of the movie. But no, that's like actually what her backstory is. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, they
I
could
don't
have done
know.
that better
It
with
kind
how
of
like
like it just feels like a weird ending to the mystery
it's a
because
big like
like
it's a big jump to go to,
yeah, because
and
she
I wish
just
there was
turns
a little
herself
more
in.
foreshadowing of like that turn
Yeah,
because
besides that like
there
one
technically is,
scene.
but they don't do it like that big enough.
Yeah, it's
It's
mainly
not.
just one scene when he says that like um her son like scammed some people out of money for like a fake charity thing. And then like it comes back later, I guess, with like something that like turns out this isn't the first time he did something bad like that, I guess. In terms,
Yeah.
this time it was kind of an
I do
accident.
like that though, since in retrospect, that part's neat because when she's talking there, she like jokingly brings up how she like covered up for her. Like she said that it was her charity or whatever, and like she like joked because like obviously like at the time he's kind of implied to be like a younger son, so he's just covering up for him in that way. But no, that does set up in a way that she like covers up whatever like stuff like her son gets into because that's what she does with the actual big crime. You know, I kind of like that from how that like
Yeah, but
progresses.
like in terms of
Yeah.
the ending, it just feels like such like she just turns herself in and just the
Hmm.
reason that happened and like how what happened with like her son is just kind of dumb. Like
Oh yeah,
why would he just chase her for something like that?
yeah.
Like why couldn't she just tell her online or something? I I
Hmm.
don't really know.
Doesn't make sense.
It's just such a weird, it just put a
Mhm.
weird taste in my mouth. And
And
I
to
like the
talk about,
final scene with him and his daughter. You know, it's a nice moment and it kept me satisfied, but I just wish the mystery ended better.
yeah, to talk about the ending more, that's where one of my other problems kind of comes into it. Like it's a nice ending, and when she's actually alive, and in the end, it's kind of satisfying. Like considering all the stuff that the movie goes through, I do find it kind of unrealistic though that she is alive in the end though. You know, like how did she go
Yeah.
that long without food or water?
I
Like
don't
they
even
kind of
know how
explain
many
it in the movie.
days it's been, but I'm assuming it's
Yeah,
been.
oh, that's another thing. The general time frame of it. Like, if it's been that long, how did she last without all that stuff?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird
It's just like the
logistically.
ending. Some of it goes wrong, and it's just probably
I
my
don't.
biggest issue with the
It kind
movie.
of fumbles in the end compared to everything else.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
yeah,
But still, there's just I think there's just a lot the movie says with its presentation in terms of like how it feels, and the music that is played over it just complements it really well. Like there's this part of the movie when the dad is writing like this angry message to a daughter about like her going missing and skipping like school and whatever. But then it's typed fast, so you know that he's like angry in some way.
yeah. Like in the moment, he typed it and
Yeah, but then
everything.
he deletes it. But like, there's certain details like that, you
Oh yeah,
know?
like details like that. I find that stuff really cool. Like multiple times they'll have parts where like small parts where the dad's about to type something, but then they'll show him like taking the time to like rephrase what he wants to
Yeah, like
say,
rethink. You
and like
know,
that stuff's neat.
we end up
And it
seeing
helps
his
the movie feel
mindset.
more realistic in a way,
Yeah,
like how everything's
because we end up
shown.
seeing like his mindset and how he feels about his daughter through the internet, and it's like I think they did
Hmm.
that. That was just a nice way of doing it. It's
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think about the thing with like his brother supposedly I didn't really see what the point of that was. Like with
Yeah, it was
the
like a little unnecessary. Like
yeah,
I
the
do kind of like
brother
the scene where I kind of
giving the
like where it
daughter
goes to in
drugs.
the end, where like the brother calls him out on like his behavior and everything. I kind of like that part, but I don't know. It's weird, and that part being like, that part being recorded too. That was one of the main parts. Where I was like, did this like need to be on a call or whatever? Like, what, logistically, why would it be? I find
Yeah.
that a little contrived, but it's
Yeah.
still like a well
To me,
presented
besides
scene.
some
It just
stuff,
kind of.
like there's some good stuff in like the ending, but like there's some moments when they might be struggling a bit, like trying to go through this type of like lens, and there's like some issues I have with the end, but most of the time it's an engaging story with a father and a daughter, and like an engaging
Yeah.
mystery, you know? You're
Hmm.
engaged because the movie does a good job at establishing his character,
Hmm.
and you end up like the titular searching part of the movie is well done. You know, like we see him going through a bunch of like her supposed friends, learning more about her.
Hmm.
Like I think the performances are mostly
Oh yeah,
good.
the main performance by like the dad. He does really
Yeah, I think
really
he
good
sells like
with
the
it.
concerned father role pretty well. And I think the movie just has a really good portrayal of the internet. Like, I'm assuming, I don't know what time frame this film takes place, but based off of
They're
some of
kind
the
of vague with it, but
yeah,
because it clearly has to be at least like a bit. This can't happen all back to back. But the longer it happens, the more I feel the ending's kind of weird. Like, how is she able to last
maybe
that
the
long?
late 2000s is with the time period in terms
So
of
I
like
think
the
because they
era.
show dates. I think it's 2017. I want like
Oh, really?
actually.
Huh, I would have
I'm
been
pretty sure when
completely
they showed
wrong.
the actual present day dates, it was
Yeah,
around
yeah,
that.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, maybe that's a bit too early.
I wasn't paying attention to the actual days, just like
Yeah,
the year
yeah,
dates.
it
But
just like, I don't know, the time frame with, I don't know, some parts
the
are just
time
kind of
frame's a
confusing.
little messy, which is probably my biggest complaint with like everything's well presented, like in terms of the actual story, but just like how long it takes to happen and how it concludes and how it's ever that's what I think bumps it down for being like really, really great. But yeah, solid
Yeah,
overall.
I have like issues like with some parts during the ending, and some stuff with like, I guess, the date and stuff like that, and like some
Yeah.
stuff being a bit
That's the
far.
main thing, just
It
the
has
time
some
frame of it
story
all is weird.
issues. It has some story issues and some like, I guess, time frame stuff that like, it just has some story issues in general.
Mhm.
Like we said. But I think it's overall still a really good movie. I think I think the search is engaging. I think it's well presented, and I think I like the static it lends and like each of the
Yeah.
shots. I think that like it does a good job at like immersing yourself in this type of internet
Yeah, they do a
world.
really good job.
It
Like the aside from the few moments I mentioned where it's weird, they do a good job at getting you like
Yeah, the
into
film
that
really has
view.
a good understanding of the internet overall, and I think it like
Yeah.
makes up for some of like the poor writing decisions. And I end up just really loving this movie, and I think it's like, I don't know, just it's just enjoyable. It's engaging. It's well presented. What's not to like? It's like a
Yeah.
fun.
Well, there is stuff,
It's
but
an
there's
engaging
some
search.
stuff
It
that
gives you a reason to care about these characters, and you want this father to succeed.
Mhm.
There's just
Yeah.
some conflict. There's just some stuff that like with the story and conflict that I just
Mhm.
wish could have been handled better. Cause like
Yeah.
most of the movie, I was really interested to see with where this mystery would go. Like,
Mhm.
did she flee the country? Was she really?
I don't really know because there's clearly something that's clearly mildly related to what
Yeah,
her like what her relationship with her dad is, but I guess
yeah,
it
it's
it
kept
ends up being not
ambiguous,
as
and it's
bad as he
interesting.
thought, I guess. But yeah, it just all that's
Yeah, like,
connected.
is
Weird.
she running a laundering scheme? Is she just dead? And the film builds up to that, but like it just kind of disappointing how like abrupt the ending was in some way.
Yeah. It is kind of satisfying though when you figure out what the actual like when all the pieces come together and like you figure out what the full story fully is. That is kind of satisfying, but like yeah, still it could have been handled better. But
Yeah.
mhm.
It's a good mystery story that gives you a rhyme or reason. Like, we don't see like the full searching method, but we see what's going around the mystery for the majority of the movie, and it's enough to get you engaged in the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know other movies do this, like Unfriended, which who knows, we'll
Yeah,
cover
I
that
was I
another
was
day.
gonna watch some of those for compare. I was actually curious. I wanted to watch Unfriended and I think the other one Megan is Missing, which might be close. I wanted to watch those as comparison pieces to see how those do it worse. I didn't get around to it, but
Yeah, I
yeah, I
heard
assume
those
those.
movies are bad.
I've heard those are awful, so I
Yeah, but
wouldn't get.
but that makes it grateful that this film ended up pulling off this
Yeah,
style
because
really
it could have
well.
been, like I said, use like a subject like the internet. It could have been way worse than like
Yeah,
it
it could
could.
have over
Yeah.
exaggerated and made everyone a jerk for asshole for absolutely no reason. Like something like "Don't Look Up." It could have easily been something
Um,
like that, but it wasn't.
yeah.
Thankfully, it was.
Mm.
It actually had good editing and presentation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations, movie. Good
Good
job at
job.
being better than Don't Look Up, and you deserve the Best Picture nominee more than Don't Look Up.
Adam McKay.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
tired of thinking about Don't Look Up. I don't know. I
that's
hate
fair.
how I put that idea in my head.
Mm,
Back to good
yeah.
movie now.
Anyway, one thing I do like about the movie is like the dad. He's not like obvious. He's not like completely out of touch with technology, but it's more realistic. Like how it kind of fumble around some stuff. Like doesn't like
Yeah,
it
like
could
he
it
has
could
a
be cringe. I
job and
know some
stuff like
movies
that.
like do stuff like this for like cringe. Like he doesn't. He's not aware of what Tumblr is at the beginning. He has to find that out. And then I think one of the biggest things I really like this detail. Like when he's looking up the one guy's account who eventually turns out to be the son later, like when he keeps like finding that out, because like he tries searching through the image, but because he's kind of out of touch of it, right, he's not aware right away that the image is like a stock image that you can just look
Yeah.
up online. I thought that's an interesting turn in the story that's not obvious right
Yeah.
away. Once you
Also,
figure that out, you kind of get it, and like in my
I
context, it
also
makes
have
more
like a
sense.
small nitpick with the story. Like, how was the detective able to get away with like lying to people about the case and where it was able to cover it up? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
that's
that like whole
weird.
twist thing kind of like holds this film back from being a
And
true
some parts though
masterpiece.
I find like a tad convenient. You know, like during one part, right? He's only able to he's only able to find out about where the like because like she like the one person he's talking to, he mentions that like the detective wasn't assigned to the case. The detective was like she like because she says that she chose like she was assigned to the case, but no, she actually chose it, and then that leads to him like researching all this other stuff that eventually leads to him being found out. I find that a little convenient how it's all presented, but
Eh,
no, it's like it's well. Other than that, I find it mostly well done. Just
I don't
yeah,
know.
just kind of the end where it falls off a bit, but yeah.
I don't really know about that. I don't know. The one convenient might have just been during the funeral thing when like he was
Mhm.
just like he applied for it and then coincidentally it was the same stock image, but that wasn't really that annoying to me.
Yeah.
You see, conveniences are only annoying to me when there's like when there's like a lot of them and they're just mainly there just to
Yeah,
drag the
I
plot
can
along
excuse
or
mild ones,
something.
but when your whole story kind of hinges on them, and like you kind of got too many for it to like make sense, really, I find that annoying. But yeah,
I don't know. It's like if it like I don't know. Conveniences mainly just don't bother me. It just pretends like it just pretends how dumb they are, and you know,
yeah.
and how
I think it's
noticeable.
only if they pile up, right? This movie doesn't have that many of them, so I can
Yeah,
like excuse
I don't
that. But
know. Yeah.
they just don't pile up that much, so I can kind of forgive it. But yeah.
Um, do we have anything else to say?
No, I think we're good. I'm
Yeah.
good at least. You get anything?
I mean, yeah. Despite my issues, I still really love this movie. I'm really debating with
I
my
like it a
score.
lot.
I'm probably gonna
Uh,
give it. I'm debating with a 7 or 8 out of 10, but I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 for now, or seven.
uh,
I'm not sure, but one of those.
For now, I'm going 7 on it. It's not like I enjoy it a good amount, which is why I have it at a 7. But there are like I do have some undeniable flaws with it, mainly during the end. But it's still very solid overall. So yeah,
Yeah,
good 7.
I'd give it a
Good seal. I'd
7 or
recommend.
8. I'm still debating on my rating right now, but yeah,
Mhm.
probably maybe 7. I don't know. I'm still debating. Well, I guess that's it. We meant it this time. This wasn't as long, but
Mhm.
yeah. Next episode is gonna be a
It's gonna be a
special
big
one.
one.
It's
If you
gonna be
thought
a
this
big
one was too
one.
short, don't worry.
We're gonna make up for
We're gonna
it.
make up for it next
We're
time.
excited for our next one. It's gonna be our epic special. We're gonna do our very first TV show. We won't spoil,
Well,
but
technically talk about a TV show here, but first full TV show
yeah,
discussion.
full TV show. It's not a long one as well, but
Yeah,
yeah,
we're talking Moral Oral, baby.
uh,
All 3 seasons of
yeah, moral
Moral
oral.
Oral.
Yeah.
Adult Swim show.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
we'll
some
just
of you
say it
who are
anyway.
watching this
Yeah.
already know
Oral
my
World.
thoughts very well. But I'm excited to talk about some more specific details and stuff. Let me honest, I haven't talked with you a lot about the show, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, more oral. It's
Yeah.
all on YouTube. Watch it if you
Yeah.
can.
You know what?
It's
Yeah.
very
We might
easy
as.
to
Yeah.
access,
We might as
which
well
is
have just
nice.
said it. So just in case you guys want to stay
Yeah.
tuned for that and get ready.
All
But
right.
whatever.
Fun enough. Fun enough.
Anyways, thank you
Uh-huh.
for tuning in for another episode of
Thank
Campy
you.
Cast, and bye bye.